Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 866 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, a.k.a. the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. I moved out of my studio apartment back to my studio bedroom at my mother's house. That's right, 41, still living with my mother. Does that make the B-Man a loser? Maybe it does. Maybe it does. But who has to pay rent? A mortgage. You do. And I don't. You're damn right I'm not paying rent to live in my mom's basement because I'm a great son. Why would I do that? I let her cook for me. Why would I pay rent? That'd be silly. Anyway, I'm not a complete degenerate, although I am a degenerate. Maybe not as much as the gays, as we've talked about in prior episodes, but I am a degenerate. But I'd like to be a clean degenerate. Before starting this episode, I cleaned the studio, aka my bedroom, right here. And right now, I'm inhaling all the cleaning supplies. Love it. Love it. The B-Man loves the smell of chemicals. Mr. Clean, gasoline, sunscreen, all the yeans. Let my nostrils at them. I probably am going to get cancer very soon because of that fact that I love the smell of chemically made substances. But actually, I might have cancer right now, but I don't because I don't go to doctors. See, you cannot be diagnosed with cancer if you don't go to the doctor. That is health advice from the B-Man to all of you. Therefore, I don't have cancer. If I'm going to get cancer, don't tell me in the early stages when I don't have pain and still have a vibrancy to me. I don't want to go to chemo and take chemicals and pills and have to go to the clinic a few times a week. I don't want the hassle of that. Tell me I have cancer when I could barely breathe, stage 4, the chemo and all the science is of no use. I'm on death's doorstep. That's when I want to know I have cancer. Not stage 1 when I could do the whole dog and pony show and survive. But I probably have it right now because I'm sniffing chemicals for fun, and not the illegal ones, just the over-the-counter cleaning supply chemicals. Anyways, enough about that. I have empathy, sympathy, a pit in my stomach, my thin stomach here. This belly I have, hairy belly of mine. I have a pit in it for my neighbor, my mom's neighbor. They have a young child. I'm not sure how old he is, 6, 7. He started kindergarten last week, and it's early September, school starts, he's in kindergarten. And that's a profound day in a person's life. When you start kindergarten, your childhood is officially over. And especially now, because when the B-Man was a little lowercase B-Man going to the elementary school, kindergarten was a half day. I think it might have been 2.5, maybe 3 hours. You go there, you suck your high C juice, you take a nap, you have recess, you learn how to count to 20, you call it a day, you go home and you annoy your mother and your father and your siblings. But now, I learned that my neighbor who's in kindergarten, he does full day kindergarten. So he's there, I don't know, 6.5, 7 hours a day. You add in the bus route both ways and having to wait in line before you enter the school. And he's putting in an 8-hour day for kindergarten. Literally, his childhood is over. I'm not saying this is he's at a hard labor camp, but he's pretty damn close. And his life is over. He's stuck in school, legally obligated to be at school for the next 13 years. Kindergarten and then 1st through 12th grade. And I don't think this 6-year-old, and I'm just saying this 6-year-old, I'm not pointing him out specifically, but all 6-year-olds, when they walk into kindergarten and meet their teacher for the first time, I don't think the weight of what they're walking into, I don't think they understand how their life has changed and is never going back. And the profoundness of that first day of kindergarten, that first week, like you meet that teacher who no choice of your own. He's in your life for the next 10 months, and you'll remember that teacher's name for the rest of your life. And you're stuck in that system for the next 13 years. And 13 years is a long fucking 13 years when you've only lived 6 years. And those 6 years have been freedom, right? No schedule, Monday through Friday. Unless you had daycare, you're just one of those terrible parents who send your kids to daycare to do all the parenting while you work for a corporation or an entity that don't give a fuck about you. But that 6-year-old, when you've only lived 6 years and you tell a 6-year-old, hey, this thing you just went to, kindergarten, you got to keep going back to one of those buildings for the next 13 years. Like a 6-year-old mind cannot comprehend that. At a 41-year-old, that's where that pit in my stomach, I want to tell that 6-year-old, all the 6-year-olds, run away, because you're stuck in that system and there's no getting out. And I feel bad. I have that pit in my stomach for everybody involved with kindergarten, like the kindergarten teacher. Like, what's she gonna do? Right? You're not doing half days anymore. You're doing a full 6-hour day, 6-hour day, maybe 7-hour day with 20 to 30, 6, 7-year-olds. Like, what are you going to do for 6 hours? Like I previously mentioned, you have recess, you do arts and crafts, you learn how to count to 20, you do some assimilation, you stand in line, you go to lunch, you learn some manners. You do all that, 2 hours? 2 hours max? What are we going to do the last 4 hours of the school day and the next 178 days of the year? Like, sometimes, to put it in perspective, like, I get anxiety thinking about what to talk about in a 40-minute episode of Verbal Graffiti. That's 40 minutes. This bitch teaching kindergarten has to come up with activities for 180 days when the only objective is to learn how to count to 10 and learn all your colors and ABCs. You can bang that out, and we can bang that out by Wednesday. And that bitch who's teaching kindergarten's got to stretch that out for the next 180 days or whatever the heck it is. I'm saying the word fuck too much. How do kindergarten teachers not become alcoholics with that stress on your mind? And just how many different ways can we count to 10 before I'm out of ideas? I have no more ways to count to 10. We use the bricks, we use the Legos, we use our fingers, we use the pencils, the erasers, we use a coloring book. How many different visual Now I understand why every kindergarten teacher I've ever met is just a little off mentally. I used to just think, you're just, you're nurturing, every kindergarten teacher I've ever met, and I'm sure you feel the same way, it's just a little off. It's not, they're good-spirited individuals, obviously, they're kindergarten teachers. But you put them in a setting with adults, at a bar, restaurant, concert, wherever, in public, away from children. And I do feel since the kindergarten teacher does have difficulty assimilating with adults. And now I know why. It's because there's that stress of how much. Dude, there's 7 colors, right? How many colors are there? How many Crayola colors are there? 7, 10 colors? How am I going to come up with 100+ lessons about 6 colors like that? That's gotta make you a bit of a Looney Tune. That's why I understand now why, as I talk it out, why kindergarten teachers are a bit cuckoo, because they just got to come up with a lot of bullshit a lot of days of the year. And the kindergarten students, man, I wish I knew. I wish I knew. Like, I knew about school. Like, I'm the youngest of five, so like my siblings. Oh, you're a big boy now. You're going to school, but it's hard for a 6-year-old to really comprehend what school is and what it's going to entail for your life times three, at least till you're 18. And all right, enough about that. But you get it. You get it. Like, it is crazy. It is crazy. That's a 10-minute opening. I have more to talk about the parents of the kindergarten and elementary school students. We'll get to that in segment 2. But right now, early September, you know what topic we got to talk about. All right. Well, this one comes from the subreddit Xennials, Xennials. What were you doing on 9/11, or how did it affect you? I saw a similar post on Gen X subreddit and wanted to know about people younger. I'm 45. For me, it was my second week of teaching high school seniors government, and I live in Virginia near where the fighter jets were scrambled from to intercept. I imagine many of you were in college, wondering how my exennial compatriots were affected. Well, first of all, I am not your compatriot. I don't know who the fuck you are. I know what your post is, but I'm certainly not your compatriot. I am an individual. I am a degenerate. I am the B-man. The one thing I am not is your compatriot. No, I was not in college. I was in high school. Obviously, I remember it distinctly. I was a junior in high school. I was in math class. It might have been algebra 2, I think. My teacher was Mr. Ainsworth. He probably came into the classroom 10 a.m. And we used to call him the X Factor because Mr. Ainsworth used to play basketball with us. And whatever, he was kind of a scrawny, bit of a beer belly, younger teacher, but whatever team he was on usually won, even though he was a terrible basketball player. So we just called him the X Factor. But he came into the room, that blank look on his face, not knowing really how to announce this, but he said, I hate to break it to you all, but the Twin Towers have been struck by 2 planes. And my first thought was, what are the Twin Towers? That is right. The B-man, I can't believe I'm admitting this. It's how much in my own world I was at the time and still am. Today, as a 41-year-old, I did not know what the Twin Towers were. And I grew up, born, raised in Connecticut, had no idea what the Twin Towers were until Mr. Ainsworth brought a TV into our classroom, one of those box TVs, the roll with the bungee over so it doesn't fall on the students. And then, we got to watch the footage. It was like, oh, those are 2 buildings in New York City. And once that happened, and it kind of, okay, 2 big towers somewhat near us, Connecticut, New York City, somewhat close geographically. My second thought, like most students that day all across the country, do we get to go home? Mr. Ainsworth, do we get to go home? We're under attack. Do we get to go home? No, we did not. No, we did not. Actually, we had an entire day of school, Wallingford, Connecticut, that is, and I had a cross-country meet after school that also was not canceled. And I think it was a home meet, and like many of you that remember, it was a perfect mid-September afternoon, not a cloud in the sky, mid to high 70s, no humidity, perfect day of weather. But I was very upset that I did not get to go home early. Because when you're in high school, that's all you care about. Snow days, half days, early dismissals. Someone dies, do I get to go home? That is all that's on your mind is you're in school. How do I get out of school? Terror attack. Great. Can we get to go home? Nope. B-man did not get to go home. I'm still upset about that to this day. But honestly, it had no effect on my life. I did not get to go home. I did not know anybody who worked in the Twin Towers. I was in high school in Connecticut, but far enough from New York where none of my friends' parents worked in the city. So nobody I knew died. My big takeaway on 9/11 was commercials, because after my cross country meet, I went home. My parents, obviously, they had the news on, and there were no commercials. Like 9/11 happened, and for like the following week, it was just news 24 hours a day, no commercial breaks, and that's what always like stuck in my mind, because up until that point, like any TV cable show had commercials, and this was a straight 24 hours, no breaks, and that for something like that's what blew my mind. Not ISIS and whoever planes into buildings. Allegedly, it was that there were no commercial breaks. I will say, how did it? It affected me a few years later. A spry B-man was at the University of Connecticut, and there was this babe, Deirdre, that I wanted to fuck her. Right? I wanted to fuck her. I was smitten with her. And her father was either a cop or a firefighter who was a first responder at 9/11. And, he was there for months cleaning up, helping with the cleanup of downtown Manhattan and doing all that. So it affected this babe Deirdre because that was her father, and I wanted to fuck Deirdre. So there was like this 9/11 vigil on campus, and I went there with her, pretending to care and be really sad about 9/11 to try to get in her skirt. It did not. No, it did not happen. I didn't even end up kissing her. So that was a fail on my part. But generally no effect on me, 9/11 personally. Like we all say here at Verbal Graffiti, time and time again, like it's only a tragedy if somebody died in whatever incident or natural disaster it is. And since I didn't know anybody, to me, it was an event, not a tragedy. 9/11, that is. Now, I think what 9/11 did for me, it crystallized my sense of humor, which is very, very dark. I love 9/11 jokes. Like 9/11 and dead baby jokes are probably my two favorite genres of jokes and humor. I love a 9/11 joke. And that's how I could tell if you and I are going to fuck. Right? If we're going to get along as friends, as lovers, as acquaintances, like if I tell a 9/11 joke or we hear a 9/11 joke, if you could laugh at it, there's a good chance our personalities will jibe. If you get offended by a 9/11 joke or any natural disaster joke made at someone's behest, you and I are probably we're just not gonna gel. Like we ain't gonna vibe. We ain't gonna fuck. We ain't gonna hold hands and diddle thumbs. Like we're not gonna be together very long because, I'm going to tell 9/11 jokes. Like 9/11 is my favorite holiday of the year. Like I text everybody the morning of 9/11 and text them very simply, "Happy 9/11. Hope you enjoy the holiday." And Louis C.K. has perhaps my favorite joke. It's a 9/11 joke. I won't say what it is. Just Google Louis C.K. 9/11 joke. You'll love it if you have a dark sense of humor. But that incident, that morning, early September morning, crystallized my personality and my love for 9/11 and dark humor. It also, most of these videos have been scrubbed from the internet, which is very frustrating to me that it's hard to find these videos. But if you do search, and if you do get lucky, there are videos where people have like home cameras from 9/11, or like the news cameras of people, or the workers that were on like the 112th floor. Like, the plane hit allegedly, and then the floors above, they couldn't get down. So people who were working in the towers had to jump to their death. Like their floor that they were on was on fire. So they were outside the broken window, like looking down. like 100 stories, and you get burned in the fire or jump to your death. And you can see these videos used to be all over the internet before they all got scrubbed of just, just people working the towers just having to jump to their death while they're wearing suits. And I love watching videos of the 9/11 of people from 9/11 having to jump to their death from the towers. It's cinematic. It's cinematic, and I don't know what it says about my soul. It probably says something very negative about the B-Man's soul, that I do enjoy watching videos of people on 9/11 jumping to their death. But when you see that and how real it is, and I always wondered what was going through their mind. When it's like, well, this is it. And they jump, and you know it's going to be a painful but quick death. Something about those videos I've always found appealing. I don't know. Let's move on from that. What else is it about nine? Obviously, I am a 9/11 truther. I don't really know what happened on 9/11. I used to think there were explosives in the two buildings, and the planes hit. But the more, the further in the past 9/11 is, the more wild the conspiracy theories get. Some people say that no planes hit the towers. I think planes did hit the towers, but some people think it was like a direct energy bomb that hit the towers. I don't know. All I know is it was a missile that hit the Pentagon, because there's no way a plane flew that low and that perpendicular to the ground with that little experience flying and being able to hit the Pentagon. No fucking way. There's no fucking way some guy in a cave halfway around the world orchestrated a perfect bullseye attack on the Twin Towers. I'm very skeptical. It took me about 10 years after 9/11 before I went down the rabbit hole. And that's because I knew, and I still know, I'm not smart enough to figure out what happened on 9/11. I don't know about steel and airplanes and aviation and fire and what and all. I don't have the scientific knowledge to really figure out how two towers just dropped, free fell, and then there was nothing on the ground. It just all disintegrated. I knew something fishy, conspiratorial went on that morning, but in my mind I knew I wasn't smart enough to put it all together. Eventually my suspicion got the best of me, and I did go down the rabbit hole and watch a lot of YouTube videos. I didn't read any books, because I get all my information from YouTube and social media. But Larry Silverstein, he bought insurance on the buildings the year prior, and then a lot of executives just were very lucky to miss work that morning. There's just a lot of if you agree with the official narrative, government narrative, and media narrative that came out that day and the subsequent months, you're a dum-dum. That's what you are. I think that's my big takeaway from 9/11 is I'm mistrustful of the government and the official narrative they tell us. And I've been proven right that to not trust the official narrative that the government and media tells you. Started with me with 9/11, Iraq, weapons of mass destruction. We go into Rona, and where did that come from? It is everything that happened, everything that's happened. Profound is did it really? Did it really? And did it happen how you're telling us it happened? It just told me 9/11. Be suspicious. And it is, but but 9/11, man, it's happy 9/11. That's all I really got to say to all of you. Happy 9/11. Hope you enjoy the holiday. Episode 166, segment 2. Please share an episode and or a reel with somebody you know that laughs at 9/11 jokes. Upward and onward, I'm a very judgmental person. Have you not picked up on that? I certainly have. I don't think it's a flaw. I think it's a glowing something positive. I can't think of a way to paint the picture, but I enjoy being a judgmental person. And just, all right, enough about me. Who am I judging? Who am I judging now? X hasn't been doing it for me. I try to avoid Instagram Reels because that's just, that makes your mind in a mush. Somehow I found myself on the Facebook, that is, and went to the friends, started scrolling, and I started seeing all these twats that I went to high school and college with. And yes, back in the day, I befriended via Facebook all the hot twats that I attended high school and college with because I was a horny guy. And if they had bikini pics, at the time, a lot of them did, I would wink off to their bikini pics on the book, those babes I went to college with and maybe high school, but when they were of age, of course. So I noticed a few things. One, every twat, let me preface, every hot twat that I went to high school and college with would like to have you believe they live on the beach on $1 million home with a perfect beach view, because every one of these twats has a family photo over with the sunset behind them, smiling in their coordinated outfits, coordinated photo, the perfect family photo with the sunset and the waves, and you could almost hear the waves hitting the shore, and all these twats that I went to high school with, none of them live on the beach. They all live in boring cul-de-sacs, suburbs, maybe right at the outskirts of a major city. I don't know this for a fact, but if somebody had a multi-million-dollar home on the beach that I went to high school with, like, I would know about it. And none of these twats do. And when I say twats, I also mean the guys too. Like all the successful guys, or the guys I went to high school with that became successful, they would all have you believe they just spend all their free time on the beach, that the money they work 3 hours a day and then millions of dollars come in. And I know for a fact, all these twats and all these chads I went to high school and college with, they have normal mortgages, living in the suburbs, the cul-de-sac, great life. But don't come at me via the book trying to convince me that you live on the beach. I know one babe who lives in Hawaii. So she definitely lives on the beach and she has beach photos, but again, she's in Hawaii. Like she ain't, that's not false advertisement. So a tip of my penis to her for not advertising falsely to the B-Man via Facebook. And another thing I noticed, yes, I am judging everybody who takes family photos on the beach, in August. Again, who the fuck, if when I'm judging you, when the B-Man's judging you, don't get upset. Don't lose any sleep over it, because just because I'm judging you, it doesn't mean there's no hatred. It's just I'm pointing out things I notice. I'm an observer of culture, of modern day. That's what the B-Man is. So don't take it personally. I mean, I'm living in my mom's basement. I'm not somebody, I make under 6 figures. I'm not somebody, when I point my finger at you, just tell me I'm rude and keep it moving. But moving on, I also noticed. How does the B-Man bring this up? This is a very sensitive topic. I'm pro eugenics. Like I am pro eugenics, anti-genocide. We're big here. Verbal graffiti, we're big time anti-genocide of any type of person, people. Like I don't want genocide. But I am pro-eugenics. Like I think the Elon Musk and the smartest female scientist at Tesla, they should be fucking and reproduce and making offspring that are super smart. I think that like Anthony Edwards and Caitlin Clark, they should have sex and reproduce. Like all the top athletes in America, all the smartest minds, have them all fuck so we get high IQ, high athletics, people of worth, they should be fucking. Let's take all the best people. So I'm not saying all the whites, not all the blacks, or all whatever. I just want like high IQ, boom, boom, reproduce, super athletic, 40-inch vertical, a woman that can dunk, boom, boom, reproduce. Whatever field you're in, the people at the top of their fields should fuck and reproduce. That's why I'm pro eugenics. Let's push the species as far as we can. I do realize, if you've seen the movie Gattaca, that could get dicey when you say you're pro eugenics. But hey, I like to play dice. The B-man, snake eyes. Let's play some ice. Let's play some dice. So yeah, I'm pro eugenics. I bring this all up as a preface. I know that it's been well documented here at Verbal Graffiti that the B-man, I fancy busty Latinas and Asians. White women don't really do it for me, and I don't do it for them. The white babes do not like the B-man. I dance with a white babe, but they want nothing to do with me. And my eye has always been towards a busty Latinas and Asians. Again, well documented. But I'm scrolling through the book, which I don't often do. Facebook, that is. And I'm seeing all these twats I went to high school and college with, and these chads that I went to high school and college with. People I've lost touch with over the years. I'd still consider them friends. We had that kinship of growing up or going to school together, but you lose touch, and that's what Facebook is for, to stalk them from a distance safely. And I noticed that most of these people that I grew up with now have children of their own, and it's early September, so I'm seeing a lot of the first day of school, which I don't mind those photos. I'm okay with parents pimping out their children on Facebook for the first day of school photo. It's the rest of the kid photos on your social media that I take umbrage with. I think it's a bit overkill. I wouldn't want to show my kids on any types of social media because there are a lot of weirdos out there. And that's the B-man saying this. I mean, I'm a weirdo, but I ain't that. They go, pedophile. I'm not that weirdo. I like my babes barely legal. Legal, though. Anyways. But the first day of school, it's a cute photo. Your front steps, or you're right outside the school with the chalkboard. Hey, little Steve, little John, fourth grade, Isabella, first day, third grade. The kid with the huge backpack. It's not a huge backpack, but a backpack on a third grader of any size looks huge. It's an adorable photo. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with you putting that photo of your children on social media, specifically Facebook. But there is something I noticed that I really haven't given much thought to, is that I've noticed the white people have recessive genes. We are the betas. Like white people, of which I am one, we are the betas when it comes to our genes, because all my friends, people I know that I follow on Facebook who are in interracial relationships, marriages, regardless of the sex, if you're white and you have a child with somebody who is Asian or black or Indian or whatever, like your child will not look like you. And that's just something I picked up on, right? Because I know people who are like black white couple, and the kids look black. Like it looks nothing like the white father. And I know white guys who married Asian people or women, and their kids look Asian. They don't look white. So if you want your child to look like you, which I think that's within your right to want your child to resemble your appearance. Just understand, if you fuck outside of your race, especially as a white guy or lady, there's a good probability that your child, your offspring, will look nothing like you. Now, if you're cool with that, you're cool with that. Personally, well, I'm not going to have children, but if I did, I would kind of want my children to somewhat resemble me, and that's problematic because white women don't fuck with me. The only ones that are willing to fuck with me are Asians and Hispanics. Not often at all. But those are the ones I like to hawk my dick loogie inside of. And if I were to reproduce with an Asian or a Hispanic, hopefully a busty Hispanic, my child would look nothing like me. So that's like, what do you do with that? What do I do? It's like, well, I want my child to look like me. But if I fuck the babes that I'm attracted to and hawk my dick loogie inside of them, my offspring's not going to look anything like me because, again, the whites, just from what I've seen on Facebook, we're the betas when it comes to the genes. Like, we are not dominant. Like, our genes do not get passed down. Like, they do get passed down, but the black and Asian and Indian genetics are, they slam the white genetics as far as looks. And again, this is a very dicey topic, but I noticed that, because I grew up Northeast, a lot of interracial couples, which is cool. Fuck who you want to fuck. Start a family with whoever you want to have a family with. There's not enough love in this world. We need more love. So if you love somebody who looks different than yourself, great. Have at it. Who wants to look at themselves in the mirror? Of course you want someone who's the opposite of you. But, a byproduct of that is your child is going to look like a foreigner compared to you. And that's just, that's something I noticed. Make of that what you will. I noticed it. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Your daughter looks nothing like you. Huh. Let's keep it moving, shall we? All right, this one comes from the subreddit. By the way, I'm not going to have kids, so I don't have to worry about any of that. All right, but love your children, even if they don't look like you. All right, this one comes from the subreddit, basketball coach. I've had a number of those throughout the years of my life. Disappointed. Most of my coaches were disappointed in me. I'm a coach. I've coached my son for a long time. This year, as he entered high school, I took a back seat and coached a different team. My son has always said he had D1, Division I, and pro aspirations. We've always supported him in that goal, camps, workout equipment, etc. We did it for him. Lately, though, I'm really disappointed in his effort, or rather, his unrealistic expectation of what it takes to get to that level. We were at Summer League and he made a comment of, when I get here in a few years, I wanted to scream. I wanted to say, here, dude, you're not even the best player on the B team of high school. You choose video games over working out constantly. What genie told you you're going to make it? ? He watches all these videos on Instagram on how to make it, but doesn't connect the dots. I always hated my coach hated me. That's why I didn't make it, guys. And I feel he's headed down that path, and I'm disappointed in that. Who can shake him into reality? ? Well, thank you very much, Father, for confessing that you hate your child who is now a freshman in high school. That was my big takeaway from this whole rambling paragraph of yours, is you hate your child because he's a bum at basketball. That's the synopsis of it. It's better for you to realize that your son, your offspring, ain't hot shit early on and then later on in life. Like, there are a lot of parents out there who never realize that their kids ain't hot shit, that they ain't special, that they ain't gonna do anything noteworthy in their life. So you should be thankful that you figured this out with your son at what age? 13, 14, freshman year in high school. So congratulations to that. Are you angry at your son? Or are you angry? Like I get the sense that you wanted your son to play Division I basketball and play in the NBA and have him buy you a house with that NBA contract on the shores of Manhattan Beach, California. I get the sense that that was your dream and not your son's dream. And that's what's aggravating you so much, is that you put all this time, up to ninth grade, every weekend, all the equipment, going to summer camps, travel leagues, wasting your weekend on your son and his goals, when in reality it was your goals, and now it's hit you like a ton of bricks that the last 5 years you've been wasting your time. Like, your son ain't going to play in the NBA. Hell, he probably ain't even going to be a starter for the varsity team in high school at any point during high school. And now it's hit you like, damn, I've wasted the last 5 years trying to build my kid up when I could have been at home drinking beer and gambling on sports and athletes that are actually talented enough to play on TV and bet on via FanDuel and DraftKings. So I think that's where your frustration lies. You're lying to us. You're angry that your son is a bum and that you've wasted all this time. So it sucks to be you. And really, I mean, look in the mirror, all right? Who the fuck are you? And who is your wife? Speaking of eugenics, can you really be upset that your son isn't good at basketball when you, the father, are 5'10" and have a 9-inch vertical leap, and your wife is 5'4" and never played college sports? Maybe you should have thought about that before you hawk your dick loogie inside your wife's twat. Maybe if you had some foresight, you would have dated a college athlete and married her. Go out, find somebody 6'1". They're out there. I see them on the subway. This is all your fault, right? This is why I'm pro eugenics. If you want your son to be a varsity player, to play D1, to be in the NBA, you can't be fucking and reproducing with a lady, a babe, a twat that's under 5'7" and has no athletic ability. Right? And look at yourself in the mirror. If you can't dunk a basketball, chances are your son ain't going to be able to dunk a basketball. So why are you wasting his time and your time going to summer camps and playing on all these basketball teams? Hey, your son, he'll figure it out. Listen, I watch a lot of Instagram reels and Reddit, and I go to Red Gifts, and I watch a lot of hot people fucking, and I want that. But I realize that ain't going to happen. That busty Latina, this probably ain't coming that way, especially the 23-year-old nympho that I'm so fond of watching on all those Red Gift videos that I watch. If you know, you know. Because Reddit doesn't have sound on their smut videos, GIFs. So you got to go to those, click on the Red GIF, and then it opens up the Red GIF app, and those GIFs have the sex sounds of the sex being had. But anyways, your son's going to figure this out, right? He's going to go to practice one day, and some athletic black junior or senior is going to dunk over him and teabag him. Right? Teabag your son with that black player's. He's going to put his ball, he's going to imprint his dick on your son's forehead as he dunks over him. And when that happens in practice, it's going to hit like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to play at UConn or Kentucky or Duke. I'm just a nobody. All right? That's who your son is. All right? He'll figure it out himself. And you don't need to tell him. As in the first segment, when I was talking about the 6-year-old going to kindergarten, his life being over, I ain't going to tell the 6-year-old that. I'm not going to tell any kindergartner that, because that's heavy. That's heavy. And it's best to go through life with unrealistic expectations. Life hits you with the ugly branch. And get through as far as life as you can before life hits you and hits you hard. So I think it's good that your son is a freshman and still dreaming of playing in the NBA. Like, good for him. Like, everybody laughs. Will point and laugh at the seventh grader who still believes in Santa Claus. It's like, fuck you. Like, what? Well, oh yeah, so the girl still believes in Santa Claus. Like, well, what's the alternative? Like, she's been hit with the reality of life. Like, let her believe, and she'll, yeah, maybe she's a little late to reality, but like, reality sucks. Let your son live in La La Land on social media until he gets that dick imprinted on his forehead from the varsity player who's got the hops and who's got the parents with the good eugenics. I'm just, it's, you just understand your son is a disappointment. And he's got your genetics. Your eugenics are disappointing. Your son, like, he's not going to excel at basketball, and you got to realize he's not going to excel at anything in life. Like, he's not going to have a date to homecoming. He's not going to be voted most popular. He's not going to have a prom date. He's going to get married to some maid who has an annoying laugh and a droopy left eye, and they're gonna live in a small 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath house and not have enough money to make the upgrades they need, and they're gonna be relying on you and your death so they can get your inheritance just to get by life, and you'll be lucky if your son gives you one mediocre grandchild. It'll probably be after the age of his 35, and you'll be in your 70s and barely be able to enjoy the life of your mid-looking grandchild. So yeah, you fucked up. You married the wrong twat. Your parents married the wrong twats, and now you're just stuck in a family of mid genetics. That's the old. You're forgettable. Your family line, family tree, lineage, forgettable. The only thing you're passing on to the next generation is a last name. And your family will be forgotten within 3 generations. And let your son dream. Life will hit him at some point, and it's hit you hard, huh? Sucks to be you. Go suck a fat one.